Mina Protocol Review, Mina Coin, Mina Token, Mina Crypto, Mina Coinlist. Alright guys, this is another project that my mentor recommended to me. Along with Akash and Helium, he told me to really look at Mina. And before him actually, one of our friends on our Discord server actually recommended to look at Mina. So now I actually took an actual look at it, a more in-depth look at it by reading the white paper, which is quite long and quite technical. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything that you actually need to know about how Mina is different from all the other blockchains, especially Bitcoin. So if you haven't already, please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and now let's jump into the video. Alright, so as with any of these other review videos, we have to start with a brief overview or an explanation of the problem. So here's the problem. The problem is that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, other projects, aim to provide a decentralized system for verifying payments. But decentralization comes at the cost of scalability, because each node has to process the entire system history when joining the network. And as of March 2020, Bitcoin had more than 500 million transactions and more than 250 gigabytes of data. What that means is downloading and verifying the history, it's going to take days if you're downloading that on a laptop. And we see that in the growth of Bitcoin because the number of nodes, the number of full nodes in Bitcoin is not growing despite the growing popularity of Bitcoin with all the institutions coming in and buying them. So Mina is trying to solve that problem. They're trying to create a succinct blockchain that verifies the entire system history efficiently. So Mina is a payment-oriented blockchain offering similar functionality to Bitcoin but with some differences. And these differences are that it uses an account-based model, where the current state of the block is a list of account balances rather than a list of unspent coins. It uses a proof-of-stake consensus protocol that is called the Ouroboros Samasika. The proof size is just 864 bytes, so it's really small, and it takes only around 200 milliseconds to verify it, which means that any device such as a smartphone can verify the current state of the system. It also has something called the parallel scan state, which increases the transaction throughput beyond what is capable of current blockchains. Alright, so the big advantage with Mina is this idea that they have called the Succinct Blockchain. And the significant advantage of a Succinct Blockchain is that any party with reasonable resources can become a full node. Unlike Bitcoin, where there's a full, a light, a ultralight node, due to the growing blockchain, this does not happen in Mina. There's only really full nodes. And we know that with blockchains, we're always doing proofs. There's proof of stake and proof of work. When it comes to proofs, the way that Mina do proofs is that the proofs that Mina generates validates both the block and the proof of the last block. Other blockchains' proofs would just validate the block, but not the proof. And Bitcoin's light and ultralight nodes uses these proofs, which aren't proven by the latest proof. That is the competitive advantage. That is the innovation that Mina provides. So basically, in Mina, we only need to perform a proof verification of the last proof to prove that the blockchain is correct. So if right now you're going, Donald, you lost me. What the heck are you talking about? Are you on some sort of crack cocaine or something? Because you make no sense. Here, let's use an analogy and make this simple. Let's imagine you go to Domino's Pizza, because we all know Domino's Pizza is the bomb. Well, no, not really. But let's use that as an example. Let's say the first order that they had is an order with a transaction ID of, well, the order after that is 36. The order after that is 6. So it's random numbers. It's not sequential. That is kind of like what Bitcoin is doing right now. If we use the number of 12, what do we know about the last transaction and the transaction after that? Nothing. It's not proven. We can't prove the last proof. But if it's sequential, let's say that the first order is 1, the second order is 2, the third order is 3. That is sequential ordering. So we know that on the transaction number 2 with order number 2, the proof is that the transaction before that is order number 1. So it's sequential. So we know that all the orders before that, they are right. So we don't have to go hopping around orders looking for the right order and which order they came in from. So that is how we use these sequential transactions to prove that the last block is correct and therefore the entire blockchain is correct. So hope that made sense. And if you watched any episodes of anime, you know how they always say on the previous episode of Dragon Ball Z. That is pretty much Mina, because they show you what the previous episode is to prove to you that this is the next episode, the next story in the storyline, to prove the entire storyline is correct. So there you go. Alright, and if that isn't good enough, we have to talk about parallel scan, because I think that parallel scan is the real innovation here. If you think about Bitcoin, each block is proven sequentially, one at a time, which is why the transactions per second is so low, because we have all these miners competing to solve a puzzle for the right to mine the next block. But for Mina, those blocks can be solved in parallel. Without going into much details, that means that every transaction, no matter how many transactions are added, the system will keep up with validating those transactions and blocks. But with the job of the miners are pretty simple. They are there to generate and verify the proofs of the blocks. But you know, they aren't going to do this for free. So they will post a fee with the proof that they generate. And those fees are paid by the transaction fees charged. So with that said, they actually ran some tests on the Mina network on their test net. And that test had 24,826 transactions. That's how many transactions were sent. 17,256 were from community members, where there were 78 senders and 183 receivers. They had 49 block producers, with 44 of them ran by the community, and 5 unique provers, and they were able to generate 53,120 block snark proofs, or what they call proofs. So that the potential here is that such a small community was able to generate more than 2x the proofs for the transactions that were sent, which is incredible. Okay, guys, I just want to take a quick pause to show you how I learned about cryptos. When I didn't know anything about cryptos, I got started with IM Academy, and there are some people that don't like them, but there's a lot of people that like them. And you can see here on my screen that they have hours upon hours of lives. They actually have the instructor come on a live session with you to teach you about indicators and how to trade and how to read the markets, what coins to look at, things like that. See that for some of the days, they actually have like 3 hours, which is actually most of the days, of content, of lives with you. And beyond that, if they don't have lives, you can actually go to the instructors and watch their favorite sessions, and you can see that they record their sessions so that you can learn while they're not having a live with you. There are hours and hours of content on that as well. So that is how I learned about cryptos. That is how I got good with cryptos. And if you want to learn more about this, then please send me an email at support@coursehack.club, and I'll see you in IM Academy. Alright, so in the white paper, Mina actually talked about why they're better than Lightning and the Plasma network. Now, what the Lightning and Plasma network does is that they move transactions off the main chain into sidechain. But doing that still requires downloading the entire history, and it also suffers from unsolved routing challenge. There's also been some critical attacks on the Lightning network, and besides Lightning, there's also something called sharding, which is what Ethereum is doing. It's a way to increase capacity, but also suffers from the same challenges of having to download the history when the validators rotate. Alright, here is my opinion on the Mina protocol. This is a really cool project. They have 2 main advantages here. One, parallel scan state, which means that they are not processing blocks to transactions like Bitcoin by doing it 1 block at a time. It is generating proofs for blocks in a parallel fashion on the blockchain, which is pretty novel compared to using the alternatives of using sidechains and etc. Second, it's succinct, which means that you don't need to download the entire blockchain history to run a full node. Like we said before, in March 2020, there was 250 plus gigabytes of data in Bitcoin's history, which represented more than 500 million transactions. So that would take days of downloading that blockchain history on top of all the new transactions that are happening every single minute, hour, and day. But you don't need to do that with Mina. All you need to do is look at the latest proof on the latest block to prove the correctness of the blockchain. So this is kind of like blockchain inception, because the current proof will prove the correctness of the last proof, which proves the correctness of the last proof, all the way to the first block, which proves that the entire blockchain is correct. And as other blockchains actually grow as time goes on, Mina actually stays the same size, about 22 kilobytes. This means that participants can quickly sync up with the network and start verifying. And you can do that with something as small as your phone. But that being said, this is something that I do not want to get into right now, because simply they have a lot to prove. So here we are with Mina. It's at $1.83. It's ranked 144. This started trading really recently at May 31st of 2021, it looks like. And it started off really high. You can see that they hit an all-time high at $9.09 back on June 1st, but it already lost pretty much 10x almost. It's now sitting at an all-time low at $1.10, and the recent price is $1.83. So they really started selling when pretty much Bitcoin was being dumped, which led to all the altcoins to drop. So they had really good timing. So here's the thing, guys. Technologically, this project is legit. What they say makes sense, but it is not the best built project that wins at the end. It is not the best product that sells. It is the best marketed product that sells. And the marketing right now is not that good. That is the main reason why I don't want to buy this right now. So if you know more than me and than what I've shared in this video, please let us know in the comments below so the entire community can benefit from your knowledge. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.